love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
What's up, guys? Leighton here for UFC Gambling Addicts, back again with another episode of The Insight. I'd like to start this video by saying I'm very sorry that this episode is uploaded so late in the week. Usually it's uploaded on Tuesday, Wednesday the latest, but this week's been different. I've been very busy, not had much time on my hands. As always, we're going to start the episode with underdogs, then I'm going to move into a slight favourite. I have two parlay finishers for this episode, and then we're going to move into my most confident pick on this card. Okay, underdogs. Now, I am taking more than two underdogs on this card, but I don't want to oversaturate these episodes. I said that last week. So I'm going to give you two underdogs. They're going to be Punahele Soriano, plus 100, and Irene Aldana, plus 140. So we'll start with Soriano. I'm sure all of us would pretty much agree that's a really tough fight to predict. Soriano versus Oscar Pichota, very tough fight to predict. Now, if you're Soriano, the path would be look to brawl, look to be the same guy, look to show off your hand speed and your power. If you're Oscar, he's probably going to want to grapple. Now, Oscar is primarily a grappler. He's been grappling for 10 plus years, but he has turned into somewhat of a decent striker. I mentioned his counter-punch finish against Tim Williams. Now, I know it's only Tim Williams, but a beautiful counter-punch is a beautiful counter-punch, regardless who eats it. So, this fight is a tough one, right? If Soriano keeps it on the feet in the first round, really looks to brawl with Oscar, I think Soriano has a great chance of getting a first round finish. I think if Oscar survives that first round with a good game plan, looking for takedowns, looking to work up against the fence, I think he has a good chance too. But the reason I'm going to play Soriano in such a dangerous fight really is because he's plus 100. It's a pick'em line. Now, if it's a pick'em line, I want to be a part of it. Whether I'm wrong or right, I want to be a part of it. So Soriano plus 100. I'm willing to take a shot. I think he has a good chance coming out. He's quicker with his hands. He's got huge power. And he's hungry coming off of the Contender Series. You know, he got very tired on the Contender Series. And he may be looking to prove a point in this fight. Whether that's a first round finish or maybe surviving some grappling, getting a second or third. We don't know. I think Soriano plus 100. I'm willing to take a shot. Irene Aldana plus 140. Now, this is another tough one because if you're betting against Ketlen Vieira, it doesn't feel too right. But if you're betting against Aldana, in my opinion, that doesn't feel too right either. It's a good fight. Stylistically, I really like the fight. Aldana is quite a bit more active in the octagon than Ketlen. I think Aldana has shown us good progression in her game as well. I know a lot of us mentioned that her striking up top, her jabs, half of them aren't connecting. But I want to speak these words again because I have mentioned this before. Although these strikes aren't connecting, how hard is this for the opponent? The opponent isn't getting touched, but it's constantly there. It's constantly there. And now it is touching you. Now Aldana is connecting. And guess what? Now she's showing us progression. She's connecting up top. And now she's coming with a low calf kick. So Aldana has shown me good progression in her game. The problem is Ketlen Vieira is a very well-rounded fighter herself. Black belt in BJJ, a good wrestler, very strong, packs a lot of power in her punches. So Aldana's going to have to be on her game here. She's going to have to circle well, look to frustrate the opponent up top with the jabs, and then come in with the low calf. It's going to be a tough fight for both girls. But I'm willing to stick with the activity of Irene Aldana, and especially at plus 142. Okay, moving on into a slight favourite that I'm going to pick on this card. Now, this fight really goes one way or the other, and I'm sure most of you would agree. Chase Hooper versus Daniel Teymur. I'm going to take Daniel Tamer at -110. We know about Chase Hooper, pretty much a lifelong grappler. I think he's been grappling for the last 12 years of his life. As a striker, I don't really rate Chase Hooper as a striker. I know he's mentioned in his interviews he's long and he's awkward. When I speak about awkward, I see the style of Aldana. Chase Hooper is, although he has an awkward frame, you're still going to have to touch your opponent with something to get some respect. He has got some nice kicks down the middle to the body, but a kickboxer like Daniel Tamer, you know, he's not really going to be tested there against Chase Hooper, I believe. So yeah, it's really one way or the other. I think if this hits the mat, Daniel Tamer's probably going to be outclassed. I think if this is kept on the feet, just kicking and punching, just kickboxing and moving, I think Daniel Tamer's going to really target his calf. He's going to get in close, rip to the body, look to land some shots up top. It's a tough one. Chase Hooper obviously has a path. His path is to grapple. Daniel Tamer has a good path. It's to keep it standing. Now, Daniel Tamer was able to get a win in his last fight, and he chose to take down the opponent. It would be wise not to do that in this fight. So we're going to see Daniel Tamer's IQ in this fight again, I think. You know, if Daniel Tamer searches for a takedown, then anyone who put money on Chase Hooper, you could probably start to get excited. But if you put money on Chase Hooper and Chase Hooper isn't getting the takedown and Daniel Tamer isn't going for the takedown and the fight is contested on the feet, I think that -110 probably could be like -300. So it's really one way or the other. I'm going to stick with the striking this time. I just don't think Chase Hooper is strong enough to get Daniel to the mat. And I don't think Daniel is... I think Daniel has a good enough IQ to say, look, this is staying on the feet. Okay, moving on into parlay finishers. Now, I'm going to give you the two names, then I'm going to explain why. Max Holloway, Kamaru Usman. Now, before anyone says, well, Colby's going to win, well, Volkanovski's going to win, I'd like to say this. The only thing predictable inside the octagon is it's unpredictable what's going to happen. You know, that's the only thing that's predictable inside MMA. You could be completely right that Colby could win. You could be completely right that Volkanovski's going to win. But I have my reasons for making these picks. But in this episode, I'm not going to speak about why I'm picking these people. I'm going to speak about the betting side of why I'm picking these people. So if you want to hear why I think Holloway wins, go listen to the full card breakdown. If you want to hear why I think Usman wins, go listen to the full card breakdown. But here's my betting strategy behind putting these two in at least 3 parlays. So Max Holloway, -180. Kamaru Usman, roughly the same price. Now, unlike some people who are a little bit ignorant inside the MMA community, you know, some people make picks and they completely, you know, they don't acknowledge the other side. I like to acknowledge both sides all the time. You know, if I don't acknowledge the other side, it probably sounds like me breaking down Matt Wyman in nearly 2020. But I do appreciate both sides 99.5% of the time. Now, I think Colby does have a good chance of winning. And I think Volkanovski, if he's on his game, he does have a good chance. But I think both of those fighters, I think Colby and Volkanovski, I think they only win one way. Now, of course, I could be wrong again. I could be wrong. Colby could go out there and shock the world and TKO Usman. But I don't see it happening. Volkanovski could TKO Holloway. But I don't see it happening. It's just my personal opinion. Now, if I had to say, well, how does Colby win and how does Volkanovski win? The answer to that would be a decision. I think those two fighters, if they win their matchup, I think it's a decision. I don't see Volkanovski winning via sub. I don't see Colby winning via sub. I don't think either guy is going to put away the opponent either. I think it's going to be a really close fight and it's going to be a decision. So with that information that I hold, you know, with that opinion that I hold, now I can say to myself, well, look, if Colby wins, I can still be right. Because if I end 3 or 4 parlays in Usman and I have, say, £800 coming in from 4 parlays. Now I can look at Colby decision 3-1 plus 300. Now I can look at Volkanovski. I believe also is around plus 300 for a decision win. So that's where I can hedge some money. Now obviously the risk is if I'm wrong twice. If Colby comes out there and TKOs Usman, then I'm not only wrong with the Usman bets, I'm now wrong with the Colby cover. You know, same with Volkanovski. I'm not only wrong with the Max Holloway pick, but I'm wrong with the Volkanovski cover. So there's a lot of risk that's going into my strategy for this weekend. But, you know, I'm not forcing anyone to copy me. This is just my personal opinion. So yeah, I'm going with Max Holloway and Usman to win these fights. I'm ending parlays in these two guys. But their opponent, I see a way that I can cover on the opponent. And if I'm wrong on the pick, I can still be right. So anyone who understands 100% what I'm doing here, just go and check Volkanovski decision, Colby decision. If you think they can win that way and you're picking Holloway and Usman, then there's a way you can still make money if you're wrong. Now, my most confident pick on this card, I'm not doing it for the line, but I'm sure at least 90% of you are going to agree with this. I am 19 out of 21 on my most confident pick. So the most confident pick is looking really good on this series. It's going to have to be Peter Yan, minus 500. Now, most of you are saying, well, how do we even use Peter Yan? Like, I know Peter Yan's going to win. You know Peter Yan's going to win. We all think Peter Yan's going to win, but how do we use him? He's minus 500. The way I think Peter Yan is to be used here is literally just in doubles. Say you have an underdog, put the underdog with Peter Yan. Put $15 on it, or £15. It will probably give you a nice 50, 60, 70 pound back. If you're taking Mike Perry, plus 200, put him with Peter Yan. If you're taking Ben Saunders, plus 300, put him with Peter Yan. If you're taking anyone who's an underdog and you want to increase their price, I think use Peter Yan. As always, guys, I appreciate doing these episodes. I appreciate receiving your comments, looking at all of your thoughts, your bets for the weekend. Let's get chatting down in the comments. And yeah, if you're not subscribed, subscribe, like the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.